amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
Barrister Charles Udenibu. Thank you so much, Barrister, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Ijoma.
I know it's been a very busy day for you.
It is.
Well, let's look at issues and development coming from the National Assembly with the amendment to our Constitution. Financial autonomy, let's start from there. For state assemblies and the judiciary staff, as well as local governments' financial autonomy, what do you think?
Thank you, Ijoma, for inviting me, and I'm sorry for coming late a bit. When you look at those items, for a very long time, people have been clamoring for autonomy, and this will give a measure of independence to the judiciary, and then give a measure of independence to the local government, give a measure of independence to the houses of assembly of the states. You will notice that the aprons of the governors is where you have the houses of assembly tied to. And then you have the chief judges of most of the states also tied to the aprons of the governors of the state. Then you have the local governments under the lock and key of the governor of the state. So the governor becomes so powerful in a state, just like the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is alleged or acclaimed to be one of the most powerful presidents in the world. He can make a poor man a billionaire overnight. Just one oil mining license can change the life of somebody. Similarly, in a state, the governor is the emperor, is the alpha and omega. But now, will you notice that when this autonomy is fully attained, if the state houses of assembly will approve, will accept it, because the Constitution still requires that for amendment, it has to go to the 36 states houses of assembly for them to either accept or to reject it. In the last dispensation, the state houses of assembly turned down their own autonomy. And that begins to tell you that something is wrong with those who occupy some positions in Nigeria. But then, if the state houses of assembly refuse to become autonomous, at least the judges, yes, the courts should be made to be what? The judiciary in the state should be made to be autonomous and independent. Means that straight from federal, the money goes to the judiciary of each state. Now, this begins to give a measure of independence to the judges and the chief judges, because why most of these judges find it very difficult to give certain judgments. I'm not saying that they are not trying. They are very, very, very strong. They are trying. But then you will notice that any matter that concerns the state government, the judges in the state always lean towards the state government. And this is because they are not independent of the governor of the state. So with this now, if the states allow the judiciary to be free, I think we will begin to see more robust judgments coming out from the state judiciary. They are doing very well, don't get me wrong, but they will do better than they are doing before. Now, the local governments on their own, if you look at the 4th schedule in the Constitution, the functions of the local government are just too many. And you will notice that the issue of abattoir, 65% of the roads in the Federal Republic of Nigeria are under the local government areas or local government councils. So with this autonomy, the local governments will become I expect that they will become more judicious in the way they manage resources. The governance of the local government will become better administered, and areas like cemeteries, abattoirs, even the issue of rates on televisions, radio license, and the rest of them, the outdoors, the billboards you see, regulation and control, their revenue will be boosted. And that means that the local governments will be more tech-driven. Hopefully, they will be able to invest more in developmental functions within the states. And that eases up the burden on the state governors that they must do virtually everything in 30 local government areas, 23 local government. No, the functions of the local government councils become much more glaring now, and people will begin to take a closer look at what the local governments are doing, because presently a lot of Nigerians think that local governments do not exist.
Yeah.
I know that 99% of the local government councils in Nigeria, they are comatose. You look at their personnel, they look like you feel sorry for them. They don't even look like people who work in an organization. So I think that with this autonomy, the challenge will be on them. They will be able to develop the key areas that is required. And then the state houses of assembly also, when they attain that autonomy, they will be able to make laws for the state that will lead to development. Because at present, whatever the governor sends to them, they just do it, they just approve it, just like our present National Assembly that is referred to as the rubber stamp National Assembly. All the local governments, all the state houses of assembly in Nigeria are mere appendages of the executive.
But let me aside that of the state houses of assembly,
yes,
where they have to go to the post by themselves, the people elect them to represent them in the different constituencies.
Yes.
That of the local government may still be under the governor, because before you become a local government chairman, there will be an election. And the election is under the state.
The State Independent Electoral Commission.
Yes. So how do they now checkmate this, if you're saying the governors are having overbearing powers over them?
Well, that will still be present. How I wish that the powers given to state independent electoral commissions are handed over to INEC. If INEC is saddled with the responsibility of administering or managing the elections, local government elections, there will be a total departure from what we have presently. True, the local governments are under the pockets of the governors. True, the state independent electoral commissions are under the pockets of the governors. 3, every election that you find in the state for local government, the governors have influence over it 100%. So Nigerians don't even consider any local government election as something very interesting, except maybe the last FCT area council chairmanship that was very, very well fought, and that is because it is cosmopolitan and it's in the federal capital. But then the houses of assembly, you find that almost all of them, 100% of the members of the state houses of assembly are funded by the state governments. No single member of a house of assembly, unless in a pocket of states, is where you will find a member of the house of assembly truly elected by the voters. No, don't forget again that it is government of the powerful, for the powerful, and by the powerful. That is the kind of democracy that we run in Nigeria. A government of the powerful, for the powerful, by the powerful. And so, because the governor is so powerful, the houses of assembly, their members are always funded by the governments. The governors themselves. So, when a governor puts you in that position, you cannot go against him. Now, relatively, we will say with autonomy coming to the state houses of assembly, that leash that they are tied to will become a bit loose. So they cannot just only back, but they can begin to make efforts to back in the state houses of assembly, just as you will see the judges and the chief judge of the state making more efforts to be very activist, very dynamic in the judgments that they give. It means that members of the state, citizens of each state, residents of each state, businesses in every state now will be able to heave a sigh of relief that a measure of justice can be obtained for them without the overbearing nature of the governor influencing a lot of things.
Okay, but Barrister, aside the autonomy given to judiciary in the state, autonomy given to local government, and even making local government the third tier of government in this new constitution, there's also another breakthrough from what they did in the National Assembly, the exclusive legislative lists. I think they had to reduce it a bit. So that takes us to remember when we're talking about the constitution as well as restructuring of Nigeria.
Yes.
So it seems that what they did in the National Assembly is kind of welcoming some of the points mentioned in the restructuring process.
Yeah, the restructuring has not really been addressed properly. Of course, in the devolution of power, railway has been taken and given to the states, which is beautiful. So it means that we can have more intrastate rail system. It means that the roads will be relieved a bit so that people can use more of rail or trams within the urban centers in each state to move around. Then energy now, in the constitution, you will notice that the concurrent legislative list permits the states to generate, transmit, and distribute, but not something that they can have a grid within the state where they can store it. Whatever they produce, they must hand over to the federal government, which goes to the national grid. But with this amendment now, it means that the states will now be able to generate, transmit, distribute, as well as retain in the grid within the state. A state like Ondo has capacity to produce 200 megawatts. IJ, 200 megawatts is a lot of power which they can share with Ekiti and some of the states around them. It means that if the governor of Enugu state, my state, puts on his thinking cap, China is still using, is generating power, electricity with 50% coal. In some other countries, they are still using 50% coal. Yet the world is telling us about renewables, transition of energy, and the rest. No, we cannot run away. Enugu State, for instance, can put a power plant of 50 megawatts in coal in 9th Mile, where you have the Nigerian breweries, you have the Pepsi, you have the bottling company, the Nigerian bottling company, and that is the industrial hub of Enugu State. So with a 50 megawatts plant owned by Enugu State government, they can sell to some other states within the southeast.
That means the problem of viability of states, that can kill it.
Thank you.
A very fast-thinking governor will take a decision to say, we want to start selling power.
Exactly. Because right now, for instance, Ondo has over 20 gas plants that they can convert. I think power plants that they can convert readily and use about 12 of them and generate electricity. So you will notice that the competition will now begin.
I even saw that of Edo State government,
yes,
the plants that they have. But the challenge they had, what they said then is that now that they've launched it, they will sell to states around, but that will not come from their power. But with this kind of bill passed now, it's a straight thing for them.
The competition
will be tight.
Will begin now.
Yes.
And the competition will begin from where? From energy. It will also begin the local governments where you come to a state. Each time I go to states to teach law and mark law exams, I check from the airport the billboards. The billboards tell me how viable and how productive a state is. You will notice that from the airport, it is the billboard carrying the photograph of the governor that you will begin to see as you drive in. No industry is functioning, no company, no brand. You don't see anything, and then you see the governor smiling there on the billboards, and you see there are people that are clapping for them, putting billboards here and there. So the whole billboard in almost all the states of Nigeria, apart from Lagos, Rivers, are all carrying the pictures of the
their
state governor. And I'm wondering, what are you? You are not productive as a state. Just go, pay attention to each state you go. Once you come out from the airport, begin to look at the billboards. You will see that they are not doing anything in that state. But with these things that have been moved from the, what's it called, the exclusive legislative, about 5 items or so have been moved
to concurrent.
It means that any person coming to campaign for election now must come with clear-cut agendas based on some of the items that have been moved into the concurrent legislative list. And I tell you something, we begin to hold the government more accountable. It means that the media on its own too must put on its thinking cap, because section 22 of the Constitution says that the media at all times must hold the government accountable to the people. It must also be accountable for the principle, the fundamental objectives and principles, directive principles of the state. So the media is now exposed as well, because gone are the days when media just do whatever they like. You now have more to do in each of the states, in each of the local governments, as well as how we even monitor report the judiciary.
Yes.
So things are definitely bound to change if the houses of assembly of the 36 states.
That's where I was going to, because if the houses of assembly refuse to vote to third majority, I think that's the that's the number.
Yes.
If they refuse to vote to third majority of all these, that means they have killed it.
Yeah, they kill it. Jonathan had the Goodluck Jonathan ex-president Goodluck Jonathan had the world in his pocket, because they accepted a lot of the items that came, but Jonathan did not sign it. You know, this issue of indigene of state was removed at that time. So you now see that the issue of Minister of Justice and Attorney General was raised then. It scaled through, but he did not sign it. But now they have been able to separate the office of the Minister of Justice from the Attorney General of the Federation. So that is a novel introduction into our Constitution amendment. The question is, will the 36 state houses of assembly accept it? Are you with me? Because I have maintained in this studio and other fora that it is dangerous to have one person wearing the cap of Minister of Justice as well as Attorney General of the Federation. It creates iniquities. It creates inequalities. And I tell you something, the restructuring that we are talking about is not just about moving items away from the exclusive legislative list to the to the concurrent. No. It is about those who occupy power in Nigeria. The North is perceived to have an edge over the South in the Constitution. And then when you come to Federal Character Commission or Federal Character Principle, you will see that it tilts more to the North. And the South is saying, no, this needs to be balanced. Then the North has 19 states, the South has 17 states. You need to restructure it.
Even in the National Assembly, the number of legislators in the both chambers of the National Assembly.
When Kano State was split into Kano and Jigawa, you still notice that the local governments in Kano still went up to 43 or thereabout, and Jigawa has high one. These are the things that we talk about, known as restructuring. You look at the court, the judiciary system, the Sharia Court of Appeal, the Sharia courts, and the rest of them, the customary courts. And so, what of the Christians? There is, in the whole of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you cannot quote Jesus Christ in any of them. You cannot say this is what Jesus Christ.
So there's more to be done.
That's the restructuring. Do you understand me? So restructuring is this perceived injustice, this perceived exclusion of a few people that excludes the majority. And that grievance is what is creating the insecurity, insurgency, and criminal activities in the country. Nobody is addressing it. I thought the National Assembly would begin to, even in this constitutional amendment, begin to address such kind of things.
But when they dropped the issue of state police, it wasn't part of the 68 items.
You mean to create a state police?
Yes.
It can be created by the National Assembly. They have the power to make law under the Constitution.
Yes.
So creating a state police can be made a concurrent item. Are you with me? And then it brings the people, the police, closer to the people. Now, you can't take a man from Sokoto that does not understand Igbo to Okana, where I come from, Okana in Enugu State. I'm from Udi. I'm from Okana. Now, you go there, and the man speaks Konkwawa, Nande Hekuru, and then you are bringing somebody from Sokoto who has no clue about just even the mild Igbo and ask him to go to that area to police it. He doesn't understand what he's saying and what they are saying in that place. He doesn't understand the culture. He doesn't understand the religion. He doesn't understand a lot of. But when you allow the state police to come, yes, we are arguing that the governors are not mature enough to manage state police. But let's give it a try. Just as we have moved items out of the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, let the state police be tried.
Okay.
Then subsequent National Assembly can review how this has worked, and they can still amend it again if it is creating more problems.
But before I let you go, we need to just talk a little more on the women's bill that was rejected.
Yes.
5 of their bills rejected in the National Assembly. What if the Senate rejected all of them? Then the House of Representative accepted just the last one, which talked about the quota system, 20% for women. But is that not a challenge on its own? Because if you look at what's going on in the world today, they are allowing women. We have Nigerian women that are making it outside the country.
IJ, number one, what is the quality of human beings in the Senate and House of Reps? Let us profile each senator, profile each member of the House of Reps. You will weep for this country. 99% of them don't have business being in the National Assembly. But because most of our elections are rigged.
Monetized.
So they are monetized. I told you, is democracy in Nigeria is government of the powerful, for the powerful, by the powerful. So that is the result of. I noticed one particular senator from the north saying that when you talk about equality between men and women, that it is against Islam, that it is against the Quran. And I said, this man needs his head re-examined. They need an Islamic scholar to explain to them that there is nothing like the Quran forbidding equality. It is not equality that a man and woman are equal. But then their rights to certain items, they must have equality. Because in the Bible, you will notice in Genesis 1 verse 28 and 126, that God created man in his own image. He created them in 27, male and female, created he them. And he gave them 5 powers. Number 1, be fruitful. Number 2, be multiply. Number 3, replenish the earth. Number 4, subdue. Number 5, have dominion. He gave it to both the male and the female. Now that is what equality, no discrimination. If God is not discriminate between male and female, how can a senator or senators in the National Assembly and members of the House say that when you allow that, it goes against Islam or the Quran? I find that very difficult to understand. So the National Assembly missed a chance to empower women. What are they asking for? Now you are giving them quota as if they are slaves, as if they are inferior in Nigeria. No woman is inferior in Nigeria. If you as Ijoma, what you are doing, a lot of men cannot do it. What my mother did, a lot of men cannot do it. What my wife is doing, a lot of people cannot do it. So how can somebody sit down in the National Assembly and arrogate so much power to himself and say that women are not entitled to the following items? I think Nigeria should weep for the kind of human beings that took such decisions in the National Assembly.
All right, Barrister Odenibu, Charles Odenibu, I really appreciate you on this program tonight. We would like to just leave it here now so that we can go to other issues. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, IJ.
We appreciate
Anytime.
it. Well, that's the much we can take on this segment. We'll still be talking on the issue of the Constitution Amendment. And the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, slammed the National Assembly for rejecting 5 bills seeking affirmative action and inclusion for women in politics and other shares of the society. We'll do this report. We may not be able to take it today. We'll take it other days, but we just wanted you to have an hint of what happened in Edo State and how the governor of the state have taken the rejection of the women's bills by both houses of the National Assembly. Well, this leads us to our next session on the program tonight. And let's quickly just see, take a short break, and when we return, we'll be introducing our guests. Stay with us.
Years, some of my colleagues called me and said, Dino, what is happening? I thought you are not supposed to be here, you are supposed to be somewhere else. And I told him that I have stopped following aspirants and follow candidates. Anybody who have no candidate experience, anybody who have no candidate experience, I don't want to experiment. Because it's an experiment that took Nigeria to the level we are now. So that this man has the capacity to unify this country.
The nationality in this country. And that is what I promised the senators last night. He was there. And they know that I can do it because we have done it before. Shola can remember very well, I gave them an example last night. When we came in 1999, we had similar divisions in the country. The PDP gets it wrong and doesn't get to be elected, I'm afraid. That may be, the beginning of the end of the party, because we can't afford to be in opposition for 16 years. We are not such a developed democracy. Even in developed democracies, they don't go into opposition that long. They make sure that they alternate. Just like our contemporaries in Ghana told us in 2015, be prepared to be in opposition for 8 years, because you will not be able to take over government from a sitting government, even if you win. Just like we know what happened, we won, yes. But it was denied us. So we should not make that mistake this time around. We must work together, and there will be something for everybody. Nobody should feel that, what is going to be there for me. There will be something for everybody. Because the opportunities in this country are unlimited.
Well, we came to register our support. We are solid supporters of Atiku. We support his aspiration, we support his vision, and we are working very, very hard to see him emerge as the presidential candidate.
Atiku Abubakar. Joining me in the studio tonight is the Director General Atiku Solidarity Organization and National Project Director, who also is the National Project Director of the Basin of Atiku's Modern New Nigerian Project. I have Abdurrahman Musa Ododo. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me, IJ.
Thank you. I'm sure you're one of them that went around Nigeria, or your group is still going around trying to do consultation with Nigerians.
We are still doing that.
You're still doing that.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What gave you this inspiration to see somebody like Atiku and said you have a group that will go around consult Nigerians for his support? Why did you do that?
Yeah. To answer your question illuminatingly, I think it's good to understand the time that we are. You see, Nigeria is at the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition in our life as a people. There is no historical antecedent. That is why you hear people saying that we have not been so divided this way. So this time is time that determines the kind of leadership a society needs. And His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, he has come, he has demonstrated that character, that conviction, that he understands more than any other more than any other of his contemporaries or political contenders, he understands the situation of Nigeria more than any. He knows that great nations do not happen by historical accident. It is never a happenstance. Great nations are product of a conscious statecraft. Nations are born. Nations are created, nations are born, and nations are built. This is an eternal universal principle. If you don't understand this, you never. And you understood this concept. This is a law of nature. If you don't, the man is ordained and endowed to comprehend the universe and to govern his own immediate environment. But he must first understand the laws that govern the universe, of which the
so the man Atiku understands the
he
laws.
He understands this concept so much more than he understands it so much, and that is what.
But are you aware that there are those who feels that Atiku has been in the saddle for too long, that he should leave the stage to allow fresh people come in and the young ones take over?
Yeah.
Are you aware of that?
Yeah,
don't you think that will affect his?
At all?
You think so?
No, at all. Because in fact, that is why I love the question you raised. You see, to govern a space, to govern a nation, doesn't depend on age per se, as in it doesn't depend so much on age. He understands, just like I was saying in my line of thought, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar understood that he is an exceptional leader that have go and search history. You will see that an exceptional leader that have impacted their generation positively and altered the course of history for their generation, combine wisdom and power in the practice of statecraft. So His Excellency Atiku Abubakar is bringing wisdom to power. He's bringing principles to politics. He will bring superior knowledge to national development. These are not in the coffers of somebody that you can't just find it. These things are not what you use sentiment of age or position. No, since the creation of man, power had been in one place. Power had been in one place. I will elucidate further. Since the creation of man, power does not reside in geographical area. Power resides where there is always wisdom. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you. So
age now is the wisdom.
Of course,
his age is the wisdom.
Is a wisdom for him.
Mm. But now let's come to the level of Nigerians who don't understand all this your historical knowledge, and some of them will see it as rhetorics that you're saying. Somebody who read so much history. Now let's come to the level of Nigeria today. There is the question of zoning, where some persons are saying President Muhammadu Buhari is from the north. It is time to move to the south, to allow the south, irrespective of politics, political affiliates. But in this case now, would you say that it's not this time around in Nigeria, we do not look at region, we do not look at the challenges or where you're coming from, but rather you're looking for something? What would you say Nigeria should be looking for in Atiku that contested in 2019? The same Atiku that wanted to run in 2015. The Atiku that was the vice president. I'm just telling you all this because this is what Nigerians are thinking. What do they look out for?
Yeah, the first thing you look out for is this. You see, Nigeria is faced with an existential problem. We are faced with fundamental problem that politics alone can never fix. Go look at all great nations. Politics cannot fit. Of course, you need politics. You need politics to seek the people, to give you the legitimacy of power, to establish what you see or your vision, the leader to establish that. But politics can never fix fundamental problem. We are faced with fundamental problem that needs if you zoning cannot fix it. All this sentiment cannot fix it. We should face it. It's a fundamental, just like Albert Einstein said in his philosophical dictum. It's a fundamental problem. Cannot be solved with the same level of knowledge that created them. So we need persons that have the oversight, that have the knowledge, that have the understanding of the situation that we are, that have the understanding of the times that we are.
So you
that
think
can solve
Atiku
this.
has it?
He has it, absolutely.
But he may not be the only one that has the same understanding. There are some persons.
With all due respect to every contender,
yes,
with all due respect to them,
to those that are aspiring,
yes, with all due respect to them, as far as today is concerned, Today, I still watch one in one of Nigeria station today. As far as today is concerned, with all strength of reality, I tell you, he knows what he's looking for, and that is why that project, the birthing of Atiku's modern new Nigeria, he knows that nations are birthed, and he's ready to be the father of that modern new Nigeria.
Okay, now let's go to the last statement he made in that short video that we just played. He said, if PDP gets it wrong and doesn't get elected, the party will die just like that, because we cannot afford to be in opposition for 16 years.
Yeah.
So with that statement, it means it is possible that there may be some internal challenges in the party leading to the party primaries for them to get a standard bearer for the presidential election.
Yes.
It is quite possible.
Yeah.
But you know, in that same PDP, there are those who feel that when you feed an Atiku, they will have problems. Just like you, that is an Atiku supporter, is saying, when you do not field Atiku, PDP may have problems.
Yes.
So let's look at the two scenarios. So which one would you think will play out well for your party?
Yeah. Is it that I love this question that you raise, and let me use this opportunity to tell Nigerians and to tell PDP that, you see, just like I said before, Nigeria is faced with a fundamental problem. We have existential problem now that politics cannot fix. You need to look beyond politics. You need to look beyond. You need to look beyond what is it?
Okay, this you're looking beyond politics.
Yes.
I want to understand, just like people that are listening.
Yes.
So what is the there's a word they use, I can't remember. So what is that vision that is looking beyond politics that we need to make Nigeria work?
Yeah.
What is the vision in your own language?
Yes. Firstly, we must get a nation. There must be a nation.
The unity.
The unity. Yes, there must be a nation. Not only unity, there must be a nation. There must in creating a nation, if you don't consciously create a nation, you can never build one. And he understood this concept so much. So the first thing that we need to do that goes beyond every other rhetoric, that we must have a nation. And in building a nation, you must have answers.
Do we not have a nation now?
Yes, no, you have a country. We have a country.
We don't have a nation.
Yes, a nation does not.
So what makes a nation?
A nation, yes.
Nigeria, according to you, is not a nation.
No, not that it's not a nation. It's a country, but country is given. You can have a country, but nations are born. Nations are birthed. Nations are a product of a conscious statecraft. Like in our own new Nigeria, this is how you get it now. This is how we define a nation. This is the new Nigeria we're talking about. The modern new Nigeria we're talking about that Atiku will birth is this. A new Nigeria we're talking about is a conscious creation of a new nation with a clear and well-defined unifying purpose, established by eternal principles and driven by lofty ideas. Nations are created. If you do not consciously create one, you can never build.
Look,
you can give somebody. We have a country. Sorry, let me land on this thought.
Yes.
You have a country, but nations will evolve. Nations are evolved. In evolution of nation, there must be 5 critical questions that must be answered, and that is what we're asked to answer.
Okay, see, Abdurrahman, in the country where you and I are born into, this Nigeria that we are all talking about, the people want good governance. The people want infrastructure. The people want peace.
Yes.
The people are clamoring for security of their lives and property.
Yes.
And even the Constitution of Nigeria talked about it in chapter 2, that chapter 4, that the main purpose of government is to provide security and welfare of the people. So if someone is coming out, like you have said, you see Atiku as a man that has the vision for Nigeria. Does this Atiku look beyond himself and look at the people in the streets, the people that are being killed, the homeless people that insurgents have sacked from their hometown, from their own houses, education, people that can no longer go to school, people that can't feed 3 square meals. This is what Nigerians want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is Atiku that man that can fix this?
Absolutely, he is. because he's going to do. Let me elucidate more on that. You see, there's absolutely no way you can foster a society with a fragmented and divided allegiance. There's no way a people can cultivate aspiration, incubate vision, and nurture a dream to fruition without commonality of purpose. So the first thing, that's what I mean by purpose. What you build is not infrastructure, it's not this. You build commonality of purpose. Really, what is nation building is building a common sense of purpose, a sense of shared destiny, a dream that people believes in, and co-build to fruition against all odds. That is it. That is what you build, and that is the first thing. Because against, let me tell you, the driving element of what all you said about that, the driving element of that is a social and economic issue.
Yes.
And yes, so it's social and economic issue that you must, to create a society where human ingenuity can thrive. You need that. You must get the people. You must be able to answer the identity question. Who are we as a people? Where is our commonality of purpose?
So can he answer that?
Absolutely. Not that he cannot. That he can. He answered. He will have answered it. He has answered it. And that is absolutely. We have answered it, and that is what, and that's the next level of where we're after. That is what we are working on, to let people know. Just like I said, to let people know that there is this, because we need a national conversation around this. We've already established all this. Atiku has 60 years conclusive research work. He's ahead of his generation. I'm telling you, we have 60 years conclusive research work on how to get all this right. That's why I said he's bringing wisdom to power, principles to politics, and a superior knowledge to national development.
Okay. So at this moment now, so what will be, because now it's at the party level. They've not started campaigning for the presidential seat.
Yeah.
In another 1 month. Okay. I think about that on the 4th of April.
Yeah.
Party primaries will get started.
Yeah.
So that means all the aspirants will from this moment start saying, I want to support me in my party. It's an internal thing. Yeah. So what are you expecting from your party where there are already discordant tunes on who is going to take the ticket?
And that is why our point first of call is we've been going around telling people these
party members.
Party members. So we are going to call that one is going to culminate on we are going to meet the PDP chairman and to tell him that it's not sometimes I just look at when you talk about party politics, I just look at if not that you need party you need a party to power. You need that's what you enroute to power. Well, I would have said everybody should just go line up when you understand what Atiku's got into place. Everybody just go line up behind it because he has it, and PDP cannot afford. Nigerians cannot afford. It's not about PDP. It's about the nation. It's about this nation. And behind every civilization, Atiku want to bet a civilization that will unify all of not only Nigerians, a civilization that will unify all of the black race. And we are going to be a pride of the whole world, just like the great Madiba Nelson Mandela has this. He reminded us before he passed on.
Mr. Dodo, you see, if I give you this time, you will take over my job because our time is up already. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that's where we'll leave today's conversation. We'll still be talking more before the party primaries. But we've been speaking with, we had in the studio, we've been speaking with the Director General Atiku Solidarity Organization, who is also the National Project Director, the birthing of Atiku's Modern New Nigerian Project, Abdulrahman Musa Ododo. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Well, that's the much we can take.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.